Welcome to our executive interview series at the 2025 Zero Trust Summit presented by Cyberscoop. I'm Wyatt Kash, and we're here with Anish Patel, Federal Director of Sales at Cloudflare. Anish, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Wyatt. Happy to be here today.
So first, I'd like to ask, what are the biggest operational challenges that most government agencies are still face in establishing a zero trust environment?
Yeah, that's a good question, Wyatt. It's probably easier just to list all the things that don't cause operational challenges. But really, designing for the real world is probably the biggest challenge that agencies face. There's a lot of new technologies that do something slightly or maybe a lot better than what was available 5, 10, 15 years ago when a system was first designed. But we also have to acknowledge that the challenges are really less around technology and more around the people and process. And so this becomes a matter of what interoperability, both of the technology and of the processes. It's one of resources to make sure there's enough time to do your day job, much less the modernization efforts. And then even just generally consistency of policy across the distributed environments, right? What used to be bleeding edge 5 years ago as you move to the cloud, or 20 years ago as you move to a more modern data center. All these things are things that just can't be replaced overnight because you're delivering services to constituents that need them available 24/7, 365. On the flip side, technology is the easiest way to start the change process. So what we found is that prioritizing the technology modernization efforts that directly improve your highest impact services really drives people to improve processes. And that process improvement really can lead to change in culture. So on the Cloudflare front, we really design our architecture to fit into your world. You don't have to fit into our methodology. You don't have to start at one spot. We do a lot of things to connect and protect all the services that you deliver to your constituents or your employees that need access to resources in a secure way, and being able to ensure that we fit into the part of your stack that needs the most help is something that works well for us.
Next, I'd like to ask, where are you seeing signs that AI and emerging technologies are helping accelerate agency efforts to establish zero trust practices?
Yeah, so every new wave of technology helps solve old challenges and it creates new challenges. So AI certainly allows the industry to analyze and process data at a speed and a methodology that just wasn't ever able to be done before. If you think about advancements in quantum computing and distributed computing, well, yes, post-quantum crypto allows us to now be more strong and secure in the traffic that rides across an open and untrusted internet. But what it means for agencies and their IT teams today, well, either you give access to modern solutions officially, or your users will use them unsanctioned. And if you offer solutions but restrict them too tightly, well, some portion of your users will still use the unsanctioned options, right? So designing your environment to put sensitive resources behind an enforcement point, well, that's always been done and that still holds true. The difference now is that you need the enforcement point to be globally distributed, not just two or three regional locations that might eventually lead to latency problems or challenges in the experience for your end users. And so at Cloudflare, we actually serve and protect 20% of the entire internet. And to put that in scope, there's no other vendor in the world that provides these type of proxy services for more than 2% of the entire internet. And so we've designed a FedRAMP-authorized backbone that allows the centralized visibility and control that an agency needs, whether it's for employee traffic that is going out or back to a secure server, or it's constituent traffic coming into your environment, right? And so really solving both directions is a critical part of how you think about tying modern technologies and innovations to zero trust without impacting the customer experience or your end user demands.
Well, Anish Patel, thank you so much for joining us here at the 2025 Zero Trust Summit.